I thought I would start in a different part of the garden for this month's garden tour. It's the 2nd of September, and we all really thought that autumn was well and truly underway. We've had a horrible August, to be fair, and then suddenly the sun started coming out. So yeah, here we go with the September garden tour. And before I do anything else, I just want to show you the hanging baskets with the phlox in it. They both look amazing and smell amazing too. Right, I'm really not going to say too much about under the apple tree because I just have not done a thing. So yeah, let's start as usual at the top of the garden with the apple mint, which has started flowering. And to be fair, what I should have done is hacked down one of those two beds so that I'd have had a second flush, because you can see that where in a lot of the places where I had cut down to ground level, I've got this lovely fresh growth coming up. So that's obviously far nicer than, let's say, that. Okay, so the cornflower has come out and I have direct sown some nigella just a couple of days ago. Can't see any sign of life just yet. The scabious, little patch of scabious here, looking quite nice, and another little patch of this lovely Cosmos cupcakes. And here's the other patch of nigella, direct sown nigella. Oh, something's been digging. That's not very helpful. Anyway, carry on. So lots of things have, yeah, just flowered again. So I'm just enjoying that at the minute. Oh, didn't know I had this one. I think that could be a seashells, Cosmos seashells. I think that one might have just popped up there. So lots of things have gone to seed here. But that's fine. Pond looking nice and clear at the minute. Haven't really seen too much apart from insects in there. This bit does need a little bit of weeding. Nice section of grasses there. Okay, let's have a look at the annuals. Little scan around first of all. The light's not great here, is it? Right, let's start on the left-hand side. So I had a little, I've put in some Monarda here, Monarda lombarda. It was very late going in, so it's only just started flowering, but this is really good, and it's great using fresh, and it dries really well as well. So a few snapdragons went in here. They were very late going in as well, so I'm not surprised they haven't done much, but it looks like it's going to be a decent size. And then Panicum Frosted Explosion with some status, yellow status at the back there, which again, we cut right back and thought we'd lost it, but it looks like it's had a resurgence. So I'm going to get a few more flowers from that. It's lovely phlox Blushing Bride here, absolutely gorgeous. Little patch of phlox Creme Brulee. I wish I could have got seeds for cherry caramel, but didn't manage to get any. Helichrysums, absolutely love my garden. I think they're really good value. They will just keep going for a really long time. Got various different colours, whites and pinks, and then some, in a moment you'll see some oranges. Still haven't got this larkspur out, but yeah, I might get it out in the next week or so. Let's have a look on the other side. Okay, I'm going to look from the bottom side because of the sun. So yeah, a bit more creme brulee here. This bed seems to be a lot weaker. I'm not sure if it's because it's in the shade of the cherry tree. That's quite likely. The clary sage, this was autumn sown and got cut back oh, good month, 6 weeks or so ago, and we've got this lovely fresh flush of purple and pink, which is great. Statice, another thing that does really well here, and I've got white, apricot in the middle, and then like a blue at the end, so I'm drying that like billio. This snapdragons here have got rust, so these are coming out very soon, and some more helichrysum right here. These are reds and oranges. Okay, the sweet peas have been unbelievable. I think that just the weather's been perfect for them, but they are coming out next week, so they really have done their time. I've given up cutting them. They've all gone to seed, so they are going to be coming out very shortly. And beside them we have the cobea scandens. Yeah, looking great. Really covering that section of the arch. And then the morning glory is obviously not doing too much at the minute, but I'm having lots of blue flowers in the mornings. So that's working really well too. Okay, so let's just scan left to right around the sweet pea arch. I'm going to start on the left hand side. So the scabious is still going strong. The stems are getting weaker and weaker, which they do as the season goes on. But if I keep deadheading, they will just keep going. So I love this lavender one. And then we've got some sort of pinks and reds here too. The whatever was in here has come out. Forgotten what it was. Oh, I know, the Daucus, that's come out. And I've got a nice crop of lettuces. As I didn't have anything else to put in here, it was a little bit late for anything else, I popped my lettuces in there. So I'm enjoying those. The zinnias. So the outside zinnias have been doing fine. They're a bit in the shade of the cosmos beside them, which is a bit of a shame. And then, yeah, cosmos still doing pretty well. Again, they would really benefit from deadheading. Fantastic light for them. Okay, let's look on the right hand side of the arch. Again, my beloved cosmos, so purity, and then this fantastic cupcakes. At least I think it's cupcakes. I think they kind of start opening out like that and then they flatten out. So mainly sort of whites and blush really. Another bed of helichrysum. I keep cutting those like crazy for drying and for using fresh. Oh, this is an interesting one. So you might remember last time I had direct sown some Phacelia as a bit of an experiment, some Phacelia and some Ami. Oh my goodness, I hadn't even noticed. So it's been a bit of a success amongst the weeds. So I don't know if you can spot the line of Phacelia there. And then we've got a line of Ami, which is just about to start flowering. It's a little bit small, but that was worth doing. So I should have two lines of Ami. So there's one, and then there's another line just there. They seem to be a little bit shorter. Yeah, so that's been good. I actually do have a lot of self-sown Phacelia as well, which I'm happy to leave in this bed. And the Rudbeckia has been fantastic as well. Taller than I've ever had it before, to be fair. So this is Cherry Brandy. Normally I've found that my Sahara are really dinky, but these are a pretty decent height, almost, yeah, good 60 centimetres I'd have thought. I have just cut a load for a wedding this weekend, so the lovely sort of, the yellowy ones have been left, but these lovely kind of brown, more brown sort of sandy coloured ones were cut. A lot of those were cut. Okay, so when you have lots of leftover annuals, just pop them in your normal border and you'll just get a load of different colours popping up, all sorts of different things. So I've got cosmos, statice, helichrysum, all sorts. Clary sage. Yeah, really pleased with that. Walking into the sun, unfortunately. So the clematis over this little arch is still looking fab. It is past its best, but I'm still enjoying it. Okay, right, Tithonia, used quite a lot of that for the wedding today, and my goodness, some of the sunflower are getting enormous. Sunflower vanilla ice are the yellow ones, and then this kind of orangey one is, I think, called new hybrids I believe. A couple of cosmos plants right here. Again, I had some space and I had some plants, so I popped them in. All this bed still needs clearing. Really didn't take advantage of this bed. I could have easily gotten another crop in there. The clary, this was spring sown. If I got round to cutting it back, I'd probably get another little flush off that. Okay, so on the other side we've got a lovely mix of scabious again. Pretty sure this is summer fruits with a smattering of black knight as well. More helichrysum in the middle bed, or both beds actually, and then I've got some flax and some lepidium as well, which I've just left to seed. Okay, let's have a look. Let's have a look at the perennials, which, to be honest, are past it now. So I really should have cut back my achillea, because if I had, I'd have had a second flush, like these lovely ones here. The Verbena bonariensis is flowering. Oh, the biddens, that needs to come out. I've been frantically trying to get rid of this, but it's popped up again. Little second flush of veronica, and of course the sedum is, well, the bees are going crazy for it. Okay, and on the other side, the panicums, looking lovely. The soteria grass, echinacea has been quite nice. Two different sorts, white swan and green something, not quite sure. The gypsophila is now past its best, and I haven't actually even looked at the, I'm pretty sure, yeah, all the Achillea the pearl I think will have been past it as well. So surprisingly, the gooseneck loosestrife was way better than I was expecting it to be. It's now obviously on the whole getting past it. This might be the odd stem I could pick out if I wanted to. Similarly, the echinops has gone past it too, and I could do with cutting back the Shasta daisies as well. Okay, in the greenhouse, the little greenhouse, the pelargoniums and rows of attas, amazing. And I've been pretty busy. This is just some wildflower seed that I want to hopefully plant out in the winter. I've got a load of biennials in, but then somebody gave me some spare foxglove seedlings, which I was short of the apricot, so there's more apricot, another little batch of honesty, some few more sweet william, various other things, and then I've got my hardy annuals going as well. So I've already potted up some. These ones aren't quite ready to pot up, so this is Ami and Daucus and what's that? Melope. That doesn't look very successful. Yeah, there's still a few things to come up in there. Whether they will, I don't know. They don't look very prolific, but we'll see. And then outside, so I've planted most of my biennials apart from the Sweet William. They're looking really healthy, so fingers crossed we can get those in the ground soon. I have put my hesperus in. These were spare ones and they have been mullered by the sawfly caterpillar. Keep taking them off, so I'm not sure if I can give you an example, but there's definitely be some in there somewhere. I think they'll recover though. And I spotted some self-sown corn cockle and self-sown ammi, which I've just popped into pots, so we've got some extras there as well. Okay, right, let's have a look in the big greenhouse. Okay, the zinnias have been really successful in here, touch wood, because I didn't plant them too close together. I don't think I've had too much of a I haven't had a green fly problem. I can see something's been nibbling here though. That looks like a caterpillar too, to be fair. Loving the Cinderella. And this is Coral Beauty, I want to say. More scented violet pelargonium, which I've hardly used. A self-sown Nicotiana. More zinnia, did go a bit mad on the zinnia. Some Bells of Ireland that I haven't really looked after in here. And some amaranthus, which is huge. And I've managed to transplant all the hardy annuals that have taken so far. So somewhere in here we have got scabious, cornflower, gypsophila Covent Garden, and some clary sage. Various different varieties of each. Okay, let's have a look in the orchard. I think everybody has had a fantastic dahlia year. It doesn't look like I've scratched the surface, but honestly I've taken loads off this week. They do look amazing. I'm going to go down the middle. So my favourite is Preference. We've got some Sylvia here. Now this is either Sam Hopkins or Arabian Night. I have a feeling it's Sam Hopkins, even though I've been calling it Arabian Night for the last couple of years. Downham Royal, Boom Boom Yellow, hardly use this. New Baby, lovely tall New Baby. Sweet Natalie, absolutely gorgeous. This sort of lovely blush coloured one. Quite a big head, but not too big. The Evelyn, again another of my favourite. Now I think this is Bellefleur. Real lovely zingy colour. Got something in mind for that in a couple of weeks' time. A lovely, no, which one is this? Water lily one. Rawhide. I think that's Rawhide. Wizard of Oz. Or Evelyn. Evelyn's are great to propagate from. Pink Anesta, really lovely bright pink colour. The Linda's Baby have been pretty good this year. They've been a bit crowded out. We've got White Aster. We've got Labyrinth. And Boom Boom White, I believe, as well as White Anesta. They're slightly different. And more White Aster. Okay, so on the other side of the dahlias, so these Cosmos have actually done incredibly well. Pickety Pink, I want to call this. Pretty pretty sure this is Pickety Pink. So they were really leggy when they went in because, as you know, everything was quite late going in because the season was just so late, and I still had things that hadn't finished flowering. Here we now have the Hesperus in, so I've got a bed of Hesperus, few snapdragons starting to get rust, so some of those will be able to need to come out. The white ones look okay. We have Amaranthus viridis. The Lepidium is starting to go to seed, but they're quite a nice colour. And we have the Amaranthus velvet curtains. And then, oh yeah, the foxgloves are in. Little gap in the middle, ready for the surplus that I've grown on. And I've got a little bonus patch of Cynoglossum. This had all self-seeded around the paths and things. And because the season's just been so amazing growing wise, I just tidied them up a bit, spaced them out a bit, and they are looking great. Really great. Let's have a look at the last little patch. So finally, the last little patch, and I can't believe some of these are still going strong. So the Statice, got bright pink one here, a little bit of blue, a little bit of white, and a little bit of apricot. These particular snapdragons have been amazing. They've just kept coming. The more you cut them back, the more they keep coming. So we've got the white one here, and then we've got the apple blossom. And I've been trying to cut as much Amoebium alatum as I can as well for drying as we go. So yeah, it's looking pretty good. Obviously we've got a lovely evening at the minute. So it always looks good then. Just thought I'd add in the pots that I planted up at the side of the house, including one Cobea scandens climbing right up our wall there. And here are the hydrangea that I bought as cheap plants in the autumn. They've done really well. All sorts here. So there we have it, the 2nd of September garden tour. Yeah, we're in for a really lovely warm week. So yeah, that should really keep everything flowering, keep everything happy. They've had plenty of water, so we don't need to worry about that. So yeah, the season is getting towards the end. I don't know if you can hear the robin in the background. That's a sure sign that autumn is coming as well. And sometimes we hear the buzzards, but they're not out tonight, or not out just yet. Have a great month, and look forward to catching up with you next month.